Hey, what's going on, crypto people? It's your boy, the Crypto Siege, with another day in the life and a crazy life that is a digital asset space. Just had a major, this OBS just crashed on us again, which is really terrible. We had some awesome chat going on in the chat. XRP number one is back. Glad to see you back, XRP number one. Had some really good stuff going on in that chat there. And man, oh man, Paul J.W. Walker, another dump after dump. What is going on, Paul Walker? How are you? R_star777. What's up? Brian Bitton, hello. Danny Phoenix is back. Glad to see you back. GeoXRP is back in the building as well. That's life, right? You were on the road, says GeoXRP, right? I know, man. Definitely having an absolutely amazing. I was kind of covering some of the talk that I had with Robert Westberg, moderator on the channel, really smart guy with a banking background. Eli, what up? What's up, bro? How you doing, my friend? And we were just talking about this price of XRP. Billionaire H is in the building. Good afternoon, snowy day. Less than 6 months to Bitcoin halving, so we should be moving any day soon. Absolutely. Yeah, and so having this talk about just a little bit about, the big, one of the bigger debates in the XRP community is the slow and steady move toward in terms of price, or next thing you know, you wake up the next morning and the XRP price is at a 4-digit mark, right? And I was saying how David Schwartz had made an argument that that slow and steady was not going to work, and the reason that he said that was because here's the thing, right? And this is what I said, that we're not supposed to have XRP, right? As retail investors, we just were not supposed to have it. It was meant for institutional, right? For not institutional, but it was made for the banking community, right? It was made for them. It wasn't made for us to have. It's used in enterprise. It's used as a settlement mechanism. It wasn't made for us to have as hodlers, right? Because the truth of the matter is we get it and we hold it, right? And so David Schwartz had made a point that slow and steady wouldn't work. And one of the reasons why he said it wouldn't work is exactly what Robert and I were talking about last night. And we were talking about how we had shared this with our friends, right? We share with our boys, family members, right? And you try to turn them on to it. And then they get on, CMC or livecoinwatch.com and they see it's 22 cents. And they're like, you see Bitcoin. It's so funny because they'll see Bitcoin at 7,000. They'll go get Bitcoin. Or they'll see Ethereum at 100+ thousand. They'll go get that, right? Because the price is higher. Since the price is higher, they feel as though it has more value, right? And so if it's at 22 cents, they're not really trying to hear you. But if the slow and steady thing takes effect, and it goes from 22 cents to, over a period of time, it goes now to $5. They begin to listen a little bit more, right? In fact, they probably begin to listen a lot more. And if it goes from $5 to $10, then they really start listening, right? And what David Schwartz was pointing out was that very fact, because they don't want that to happen. If that goes that way, if it goes from 22 cents to ultimately $10, more and more people will FOMO into this market. Your friends, my friends, will begin to take it more seriously, right? They'll take it more seriously. And more people, more of the masses will have it. Well, they don't want that to happen. They don't want more of us to hold this asset because they know we're going to hold it for in hopes of getting to Ethereum's prices, in hopes of getting to Bitcoin's prices, right? And that would mean more people holding on to it. They want the rich stats list to be as minimal as possible, right? They want it where it is now. It's very, very insignificant in terms of XRP wallet holders. It's very small. They don't want it. They don't want the wallet holders increasing in XRP. They just don't. They don't because they'll know we'll hold it and hold it and hold it and hold it. Right. And so with that being the case, the slow and steady route is not likely to happen. what can happen, which will benefit them, the people who understand its ultimate purpose and ultimate use case. If it overnight you wake up and one day it's $1,000, for example, how many people, how many of your boys now are going to go get them some XRP? Right? They're not going to do it then. And that's the challenge. That's what they want. That's what they want. And that's why we're going to talk about the Nasdaq and XRP liquidity index on the Nasdaq. We're going to talk about that as well, guys. We're trying to we're running on that streak. We got it going on 7 or 8 streams now in a row. Whereas many people participating, 40 people on the stream, we've also had that same number of likes or higher. So, guys, if you would take a moment, take a second, collapse that chat. Go smash the like button if you haven't had a chance to subscribe, sub, and then come back into the chat. Let's get that going. Let's keep that streak going. It was crazy yesterday. It was 74. It was like 74, which is awesome. I absolutely love it. But then it helps with the algorithm on YouTube to get the word out. The idea is we have to get the word out about this digital asset so we can have more of us on the wealth side. That's the goal. That is the goal ultimately. Right, and that's what we want. So we're going to talk about this Nasdaq as well. But let me get into some of the chat and say what's up. I appreciate you guys coming back. XRP number 1, Paul Walker. Appreciate you being here. R star 777. Brian Benton is in the building. How you doing, bro? Danny Phoenix came back. I appreciate that. Geo XRP came back to the stream. Eli is hanging out with us today. I appreciate you being here, my friend. Theodore H is back in the building. Deep Mind Lab Visionaire, we're back on. Yes, we are. Absolutely, bro. Did you get my thing with my email, Deep Mind Lab Visionaire? Marcelo Martinez, what's going on, my friend? How are you? From London. Wow, I love it. Glad to see you in the stream, bro. Staff Sergeant of the Marines. Siege, if you look at TradingView and pull up XRP and use a Coinbase chart on the daily, XRP looks to have a wicked double bottom. Bottom time soon. Yeah, well, the Joker was saying that as well on Twitter. He was saying it was looking like that 15 to 17 mark was going to be the new mark for XRP. While E. Coyote says, I don't see the slow and steady route now, CJ. Nope. Brian Benton says, here we go, folks. Bitcoin is taking everything down. One last dip. XRP may get to 15 cents. Yeah, the Joker. And Joker's a guy on Twitter who has been a guy. Digital Asset pointed him out to some people in the community. Has been a guy who's when he does come on and make his price prediction and movements for XRP and on Bitcoin, he's been right every single time. But he doesn't get on here every day and put them charts up. But he's a big time in trading investor background as well. And he said it looks as though that 15 to 7 mark is likely to happen. Danny Phoenix says, trying to shake us out now is a bad choice. We just get more cheaper. That's right. That's exactly right, bro. That's exactly right, Danny. You're 100% right about that. And the biggest challenge is if we think about this, if we talk to our dudes, we talk to our friends, we talk to our families about XRP when it's 22 cents, 23 cents, 25 cents. Now it goes to 15 to 17 cents. What's the likelihood of them looking to get involved in the market? What's the likelihood of them looking to snatch up some XRP? It's just not likely. And the powers that be know that. They know the game. They know it. They know it. Just kind of the way it is. But we're blessed. We have it. We hold it. Don't think they care much. We are holding a very small percentage. Absolutely, we are holding a very small percentage. And they want to keep it that way. They want to keep it that way. And if, it's funny too, because Robert Westberg, very smart guy, again, mod in the channel, very smart guy. I talked with him last night. He's only been in the digital asset space. Check this out, guys. He's only been in this digital asset space since March. Since March. What? Since March. Not 1,730 something days. Since March. You know what I mean? How blessed is he, right, to only have done it? But what about those of us who have been in, for 3 years? You know, what if you've been in since 2013, 2014, holding this XRP, missed the ride up, and now have to deal with the ride down for all this long period of time? You can't. Can you tell me that shakeouts are not going to affect some people? 50 cents went back down to 25 cents. Now it's at 21 cents, on its way to probably 17. Those shakeouts, they affect people. They affect people. Guys, 60 people on the streams, 31 likes. Please collapse that chat real quick. Go out and smash the like button and then come back and hang out to the chat. We're trying to set that record, continue the streak of just as many likes as we have viewers in the stream. One of the mods in the channel's name's TJ Jackson. He pointed that out to us a few days back. And I do 2 streams a day, 1 video. And he pointed it out in one of the live streams. So we're going to go for that again. We're going to go for it again, guys. Staff Sergeant of the Marine says, these are the gut-wrenching times that we'll be able to talk about 2 or 3 years down the road, folks. HODL and BTFD. Beat the F something down. Hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't had already, says Deep Mind Lab Visionary. Absolutely. And let me know about that. Did you get my message about that email that I sent you, Deep Mind Lab Visionary, so that we can connect offline, brother? I appreciate that. That's right. Brian Benton, shoot, buy their fear. Buy. It's coming, folks, around the corner now. Those rails are humming. I watched Brian Losky. Is it Brian? I think it's Brian Losky. He was at the Swell event, and he mentioned that the regulatory thing in terms of global and, regulatory and that stuff, he said, probably, it's up to 2 years, but more than likely a year. So regulation, regulatory clarity is definitely coming. Glenford Hudson. What's going on, Glenford Hudson? How are you? Breadwinner INV says, I totally agree. Don't get me dreaming of 1,000 XRP, says XRP number 1. Yeah, that's just so interesting, guy. But, this whole idea of one day waking up and the price, it's at this price point is a real thing. And I got to tell you, and I know Robert won't mind me sharing this. His background, he's got, when I get him on the phone and share with you guys, his background is in the banking space. So he went through that banking space, right? He went through different positions throughout in the banking profession. And he said that one of the things that they do is they're very tight-lipped. When they get some projects going and they get something, a major project going, they're very tight-lipped about it. They don't share it. And then they compartmentalize. So this group doesn't share with that group. And so this idea of not saying XRP, we're talking about the banking community, right? That's XRP, right? In that space, in that financial FI, small enterprise banking community, they're very tight-lipped about stuff. And he says what happens is all of a sudden, it's just out. News comes out of the project all of a sudden out of nowhere. And that can very well happen here, is what he was saying with XRP. All of a sudden, switches being turned on, prices, there it is. Absolutely. That's why I think that the Nasdaq liquidity index for XRP is going to be massive. And it's going to be the things that Wall Street, institutional investors, these financial planning spaces like Fidelity, TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab, Merrill Lynch are going to use when they're talking to their clients. But let's look over. Let Benno's Post Disclosure Cafe. What's going on, my friend? I don't think I've seen you in the channel before, brother. Appreciate you being here. There's Robert. There's Robert's at the building. Robert is in the live, is in the stream. Ha ha ha. Robert is in the stream. I should get you to talk about that too, bro. How much time you got, Robert? Maybe I'll get you to call in. Think will be a cascade of news and new quarters lighting up at the same time. Then boom, XRP number 1. Exactly. I was just telling them a little about your background and a little bit about the conversation we had in terms of your banking background, Westbred, and how, what great insights you were able to share with me on the phone, having been in that space, and how the banking community operates. Soon we'll be paying with drops instead of Satoshi. But let's talk about what I think is really going to be a significant factor in the price of XRP and how it's valued. Let's look at something. Let me do this. Called the Nasdaq Liquidity Index for XRP. So it's the Nasdaq XRPLX. Let's look at that. Guys, 83 people in the stream, only 42 likes, guys. If you're enjoying the content and enjoying the chat, help us to keep that streak going. Collapse that chat real quick and go back and hit that like and subscribe if you haven't had a chance to do that, and then come back into the chat to hang out. We're trying to keep that record, guys, going. Trying to keep that record going of just as many likes as we have streams in consecutive streams for consecutive days, which has been pretty awesome. But let's check this thing out. So here, this is NASDAQtrader.com, and here they're talking about what are the new indexes, and they're talking about the instrument ID is XRPLX, instrument name is XRP Ripple Liquid Index, United States currency. This says frequency of 5 minutes, and we're going to talk about another one that actually does it even quicker than that. It says here that the XRP Liquid Index is designed to provide a real-time spot or reference rate for the price. So real-time spot price, right, of one XRP quoted in US dollars and based on the most liquid ends of their markets. The index is calculated using a methodology that has been independently audited against key IOSCO principles. The XRPLX is the latest addition to Brave's new coins suite of liquid indices program, which also includes the Bitcoin Liquid Index and the Ethereum Liquid Index. The XRPL has been calculated back to August 14 of 2014. And so, guys, again, one of the things that I pointed out in my driving video, and if you have guys not have the chance to check it out, you want to check it out. What's going to happen in this next year or so and going forward with Wall Street and institutional money is they're going to begin to look at this new asset class and understand that the thing that they're going to be able to sell to their clients is going to be the assets that have utility behind them, that they have real world use case, right? They have utility behind them. And let's say if that's going to be 10 of them, right? They're going to talk about Bitcoin's probably going to be able to get through the door as first movers advantage. We're going to talk about Ethereum, Ethereum's use case for smart contracts. They're going to talk about XRP, right? But when you look at those three and they're talking to their clients, they're going to have to show them a 7,000 or 10,000 or 20,000 Bitcoin and Ethereum at $200 or $300 and XRP at its price, right? And where do you think the money is going to flow? The money, number one, the money is going to flow from those 2,000 down to, for example, those 10 that have real use case. That's going to be the driving message, real use case and utility. It's going to drive into those 10. And then what's going to happen after that is they're going to look at liquidity. Liquidity is going to help to determine these prices because the market is going to go from a FOMO speculative type of market. Okay, cool. Hi, Matt. The plumber is here. It's going to go from a speculative FOMO type of market, retail FOMO type of market, to a more driven based upon utility and liquidities market, because that's what Wall Street is used to, right? That's what Wall Street is used to. So let's go over here to bravenewcoin.com, right? So NASDAQ hooked up with GPI, WIFT, or whatever to get access to this Brave New Coin thing, and they featured it on the NASDAQ site. So Brave New Coin is actually the creator of this index. So let's look at this. The BNC XR Brave New Coin XRP Liquid Index. Brave New Coin has developed the XRP Liquid Index to meet the marketplace requirements for a single, reliable, and fair USD price for XRP. It's based on live real-world trading activity. The index is designed to report a market price at which liquidity could enter or exit an XRP position. The XRP Liquid Index captures a comprehensive global sample of liquidity on the highest volume and quality exchanges, ideal for settlements and accurate spot pricing. Guys, this is very, very similar to gold spot pricing and oil spot pricing. Very, very, very similar. Why is it similar? Because that's what Wall Street and institutional money is used to using, right? The XRPLX API includes 30-second intraday pricing. 30-second, guys. End of day OHLCV, and I have to look up that. I didn't look that up. I don't know what that is. And time and volume weighted averages. So the key there is this: we're talking about settlements and accurate spot pricing. Very, very similar to gold. And a lot of people don't understand that gold and oil prices can one day be one price, and then all of a sudden, because of these indexes and because of these spot pricing instruments, it can be another completely different price. Completely different price. And it says the methodology and constituent exchange qualifiers. What in the world? Here they are. So this is some of the things that they're looking at here, right? The XRPL sources data constituent exchange qualifiers. The XRPLX sources data from only the most liquid exchanges by volume and order book depth, given that exchanges are third-party organizations operating in a volatile and competitive marketplace. BNC reviews this constituent mix and index methodology every quarter to ensure the quality of its indices. For a constituent exchange to be included in the XRPLX, it must meet the following qualifying criteria: full automated trading with volume, depth, and consistency of transactions, charge transaction fees, provide a stable API with options for ongoing live, full trade data capture, exhibit a track record of uninterrupted customer deposits and withdrawals, show compliance with applicable regulations in operating jurisdiction, be AML, CYC compliant, maintain all of the market conditions at all times. But I think the key thing is the XRPL captures a comprehensive global sample of liquidity on the highest volume and quality exchanges, ideal for settlements. And this is going to be the narrative, guys, going forward. This is going to be the narrative going forward, guys. They're going to be talking about liquidity. And what better name to call XRapid than on-demand liquidity? Because that, I'm telling you, that is going to be the message. And who is, and like I said in my stream the other day, hi, Siege, just hit the like button. Marco Polo, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Glad to see you in the stream, man. Who's going to question the NASDAQ? Everyone's used to and accustomed to dealing with the NASDAQ in whatever index that they're supplying. Like, who's going to say, yeah, no, that's not right, right? That's why they're there. And the fact that they have an XRPL, just like they have Bitcoin as Ethereum, is a game changer. And it's a reason. It's just, there's a reason. Someone told me that the price, in order to be listed on that, has to be at $5. They can be adjusted. But like the price for it to be listed on the NASDAQ was supposedly $5, is what Cryptopolis was saying, right? So that's going to be the narrative going forward, guys. Let me change this view. And I think it's going to be significant. That's what they're going to all point to. The NASDAQ Liquidity Index is going to be the thing that they all turn to. And there's a reason why you want to have a spot price. And here's the thing, guys, and this is so huge. In order for this system to work, the price of XRP has to be high. But that pricing has to come from a trusted place. It has to come from something that everyone trusts. And that cannot be FOMO and speculative retail investors. And they're going to be charting these different exchanges and getting their volume, getting all these different variations for price and all these different models. 100 people in the stream, guys, 57 likes. I appreciate everyone being here. If you haven't had a chance to smash the like buttons, let's help us to keep that streak going. The same amount of people that are in the stream, we have that amount of likes and higher. They trust the Nasdaq. It has to come from a trusted source. No, never got your email working correctly. It bounced back. Yeah, I mean, that's a real secure one. I have to make sure I get that to you. Deep Mind Lab Visionaire. I'm going to put it in there. It bounced back. That's interesting. I have to make sure I get that to you. Passionate Rick is in the building. What's going on, bro? Glenford Hudson says, siege with a winnable mindset. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Brian Benton says, I got it in July in 2019. What the what? You got it in July. Wow, bro. Man, that's good stuff right there. You don't have to deal with that 700 plus days of just the bear market since its all-time high. Absolutely, it's happening. Same thing happened yesterday on the stream. Yeah, man, something's going on with my OBS. Crashing all the time. Ralph Raymond says that crypto sees the banking sector hates the idea of open source tech. They cannot control themselves. 100% correct. We are their arch nemesis, but banks do not trust banks. Absolutely not. Ripple knew that from the beginning. Absolutely, man. Wiley Cody, you ain't losing nothing if you don't sell. That's right. GeoXRP says, I smashed the like button. The Bullet CEO is in the building. What's up, my brother? How are you? Paul S says, got to keep them big boy pants on, like the AI says. Absolutely. The Bullet CEO says, be ready to buy the dip. Glenford Hudson, 33 cents is also a buying opportunity. Pastor, I agree. Don't think I would be going to work that day. I'm good. I know, right? Think about that. But I tell you, Robert Westberg, let me catch up on this chat. This chat is like so behind. Yeah, man. Leo Brazil Crypto says, I left my thumbs up. You should too. 100 people in the stream, 61 likes, guys. Let's keep that streak going of having just as many likes as we do people in the stream. If you haven't had a chance to collapse the chat, go smash the like button and come back in. I would definitely appreciate that to come back in and hang out. Robert Westberg says, I can see the current BTC dump really falling off a cliff right before the holidays, and then they jacked the price up over the holidays. Yeah, I was listening to someone earlier today. I think it might have been Alessio Rastani, but I think it might have been him. Or maybe it was Crypto Airy talking about Alessio Rastani. Something about the prices dipping now before the holidays so they can make profit right after the holidays. A very, very common thing in the space. RCB XRP, aren't we holding the best performing asset class ever, digital asset class ever? We're holding the best performing digital asset ever, without question. XRP number one, we're hearing a lot about 6,500 Bitcoin bottom, then we are up from there. Yeah, so that we know, we're talking in, an XRP of 20 cents, 17 cents. Wow. GeoXRP said, it took me 2 months to figure out how to buy crypto. I hear you, man. Moneybags is in the building. What's going on, brother? Great to see you in the stream, my friend. If you sell, don't forget about exchange fees and capital gains. Absolutely. Dubian 2 is in the building. What's going on? So, guys, the Nasdaq and the role that it's going to play is going to be significant in terms of the price for XRP because, again, who's going to question them? Who's going to question the Nasdaq when they come up with this spot price for XRP? And Robert, when Robert and I talked, right? I mean, being from his background, he just, and again, that banking background, he knows how they operate. And they got these projects and stuff kind of going on, like he shared with me on the phone. It's very tight-lipped. It's very, it's hush hush. And then boom, it's out there. And so it's hush hush until the flip, they flip that switch, right? It's hush hush, it's hush hush, it's hush hush. Even SBI Japan, right? What have we heard from them? And it's been a while since we've heard anything from them. And they can go live anytime they want. They don't have to wait for any regulatory clarity, right? And I thought it's a very interesting point that Brian Lawsky made when he was at Ripple at Swell. He said that, pay attention to Japan, Europe, and Singapore, right? So he said Japan, the UAE, and Singapore, right? Because he brought those up because those are places that can make a decision to move forward on their own. We all know what Madame Lagarde said. She was really hoping that the Taxonomy Act would have been passed, but she's not going to wait much longer. She's not going to wait much longer at all. So the index, Morris Prince at Crypto Seeds, big ups on that wrench, my brother. Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. What's up, bro? Jared XRP is in the building. What's going on, man? Passionate Rick's like, flip the damn switch already. He said switch it after Friday. After Friday, yes, indeed. That's right. Bankers and politicians follow what they do, not what they say. Yeah. Robert Westbury says Japan and Asia will lead wide-term adoption. Absolutely. Money bags. There are so many good things to come, right? So the Nasdaq is really important. And I just think that sometimes, we don't want to overlook the fact that, the Nasdaq decided to get ahead and do this thing with this liquid index. It's a reason that they're doing it. Right? It's a reason because Wall Street needs to base their trading and all of that stuff off of something that they trust. So in order to get the institutional money to come in, and it's coming, Wall Street has recognized that this is a new asset class, and it's a poignant one. It's a new asset class, and they look at the total market cap, and they see $190 billion market cap, and they've been working with market caps in the trillions and hundreds, real estate, gold, right, 200 and something trillion dollar market space, and here's this thing here, that's 190 billion. And they've been sharing with their clients, precious metals or real estate, hundreds of trillions of dollars in market cap. And so they see where the money is. They see where's the money. But this new asset class is going to be narrowed down to the ones who have real utility behind them. There's no utility, they're not recommending and they're not turning their clients onto it. So however many that might happen to be, 10, 20, 50, those are going to be the ones that are going to win. And utility will rule the day. And it's not a coincidence that there's now a Ripple product that's called ODL, on-demand liquidity. That's not an accident. You got to understand that is not an accident. That is going to be the deal. It really is. And then when you think about the bigger picture, and my dude Carl Wagner pointed this out in one of the comments on one of my videos. This is a fact. This is a fact. There's a global crisis. It's a global crisis, and that crisis is illiquidity. I was just thinking about this the other day. Think about the repo market. Think about everything they're doing in that repo market. Think about what's going on with the impeachment process. Right? Think about what's going on with the China trade war. All of these kind of things can come together and cause panic. Right? One can kind of topple the other one and just cause this major panic. Next thing you know, the stock market is crashing and another country is going into a hyperinflation. Corporate debt, right? They're beginning to talk more and more about corporate debt. Corporate debt is out of control. We already know about the global debt. Now they're going to bring in this corporate debt. We already know about the, student debt. And they're going to just topple one upon the other. And they're going to need an answer. And when they start talking about there's this digital asset that can free up $10 trillion in the Nostro Vostro accounts, the world is going to be begging for it. The masses are going to be like, yeah. Like, yeah, we need an answer, right? And so this is the play. This is how they play it. They build it up, and build it up. And just like the digital nomad investor says, this crisis has to be bigger than the last crisis in order for them to come to the rescue. If it's not as significant as the last crisis, there's no need for someone to come to the rescue. And it looks as though the IMF is up. It's their chance now. They're the ones who are going to come to the rescue, and they're going to rescue us by solving the global liquidity crisis, or looking to solve the global liquidity crisis. And the answer to that is the greatest digital asset ever created, and that's XRP. And so when you listen to the CFTC chairman, when you listen to Augustin Carstens from the what is he from the BIS, and when they both mention that the answer is here already. It's here. In terms of cross-border payments, it's here. We just got to make sure that it's KYC, AML, CFT. And we all know that. We all know that there's one thing, the XRPL, that has not had one single transaction happen, go across that was not KYC and AML and CFT. Only one. And they're going to be able to tell that to the masses. Mnuchin, Powell, the Donald, they're all going to be able to tell the masses via mainstream media that's the case. Never a transaction. In the world of the Bitcoins is what they're going to say. And all this money laundering and stuff that's been going on, we have the answer. We have the answer that is compliant totally, has never had a transaction that is not know your customer, anti-money laundering, and CFT. Not a single transaction. And by the way, in addition to that, they have this thing that's called XRP, that is this digital asset that can free up tens of trillions of dollars in the Nostro Vostro accounts, that can help balance the sheets of the central banks and their governments. Are you kidding me? Can you guys hear it? Can you hear it? I can just hear the Donald, President Trump. I can just hear him uttering those words and speaking that thing. I can just hear it. And we already know, because it's been said now a couple of times and on the Ripple Insight site, that they've been working with the feds on their faster payments. Well, how are they working with the feds? How are they working with the feds? We all know that there isn't any reason at all for us, for those of you who have jobs and you get a paycheck, there's no reason why you shouldn't get paid for your day's work after your day's work. Why are you having to work 2 weeks? Why are you having to wait a week? Because the system is antiquated. But real-time payments is a thing that's going to be demanded. Real-time payments. Right? Real-time payments. Same day, same hour. That's going to be the thing that everyone wants. And they know that there is technology out there that can provide that for them. And that's the most exciting thing. And we hold the greatest digital asset ever created in XRP. Period. And so trust me when I tell you, they don't want more people holding it, because it's meant for a bigger picture. It's meant for a bigger picture. And here's the other part of that overnight thing that Robert mentioned to me. Here's the other part of that. If it goes to 1,000 or 1,500 overnight, there's a good portion of people, there's a good portion of us in the community that will be like, yeah, it's time for me to do my thing. It's time for me to cash out. Right? Will it not? And even if you don't cash out, would you not go to Kava? Would you? That's taking it out of the market. That's taking it out of circulating supply. When you put it on that platform, It's taking out of the circulating supply. It's snatched up. Again, that will affect the price as well. So even if we don't cash out, right? I know one thing for sure. I will be taking advantage of anything that will allow me to hold on to my asset and still be able to live a significant life. Even if I just, I cash out 5% and deal a little bit in that fiat currency for just for a little while, the vast majority of it is going to be on a platform that's paying me interest, right? Allows me to borrow against it and still hold on to the asset. That's the way the wealthy do. That's what the wealthy do with their money. They hold on to it. And they put it in these quote unquote interest bearing accounts, right? Kava is for reals. Says Morris Prince C7. Absolutely. Deep Mind Lab Visionaire says absolutely Kava, baby. Absolutely. I'm telling you. I am telling you without question. Yeah, I don't know why that. I'm trying to think why that did not work. Why would that bounce? I don't know why that would bounce. I'm going to have to make sure I did that right. Deep Mind Lab Visionaire, did you do any spaces or underscores on that? Or did you just do Crypto Siege at Proton Mail? Hopefully that's what you did. Collateralized debt position says passionate, right? GX just pulled 25%. Yep. All day long. That's right. Morris Prince C7 collateralize and live off the interest all day long. It's exactly right. I don't know, says 1500. He says, you will never, he says, you will never see me again. But that is a possibility because, again, the idea is to get it out of the retail speculator's hand, right? To no more of this holding it on some Ledger or Nano X or anything like that, right? Because when you put it on those platforms that provide you interest in different things like that, right? That goes away. But the most important, it goes away from the circulating supply, I believe, right? And also, the more and more it's locked up in a platform that adds to its store of value, adds to that component as well, the store of value. And that is so important, right? So the Nasdaq Liquidity Index, guys, don't sleep on. I haven't heard anything, any news from them as of late. But it does look as though it's going to stay the same. It says, hey, Crypto Seeds, once XRP moons in the hundreds of dollars and we are financially wealthy, will you have a different outro or will you keep it the same? Yeah, I will keep it the same, right? I'll keep it the same because we'll be the new wealth, right? It'll be the new wealth. We'll be part of that new wealth. XR Free Me is in the building. What's going on, my friend? Marcus Cordero, how are you? Good to see you in the stream. Send me the bulls. We'll all be broke together till that day. Oh, that's hilarious. Risky is the new safe, says Staff Sergeant Marines. Absolutely. Semi.G, what's going on, bro? Real-time payment is king. Absolutely. Oh, man. It's going to be crazy, GXRP. It's going to be a lot of them, man. It's going to be a lot of them for sure. And again, I will never, ever forget that comment that Joseph Brunetti, I'm going to read that to you guys again, from Wall Street said. I'll never forget that comment. Let me show you that, read that to you guys again. Absolutely phenomenal. He said, we were having this discussion on the chat, and this is what he said in the live chat on Kimes' channel one day. He said, thank you for addressing this. This is what he said. I can tell you this fact. Plenty of us on Wall Street have nice bags and stocking up for Christmas 2020. Right? I can tell you this fact. Those of us who hang out on Wall Street have nice bags and are stocking up for Christmas 2020. Like, I'm not sure what else needs to be said. He's telling you right there and there. He's like, y'all can believe what y'all want to believe, but I know what's up. I'm on Wall Street, and I'm telling you, those dudes are taking their bonus monies and whatever else kind of monies they got going on, and this is what they're doing, right? And I'll tell you, it was like 3 or 4 months ago, I was hearing story after story of friends or friends, who knew a friend and all this kind of stuff. 6 figures. They're going from their home, and they're going to a spot, 6 figures, and they're putting 6 figures in to the greatest digital asset ever created, which is XRP. Person after person after person after person, right? Think about that. Think about that for a second, right? I mean, that was one of the most, I'm talking about an aha moment, just hearing that. And the way he said it so matter of factly was like, wow. Like, wow. I'm going to be a wealthy ghost, says Eli. It's true. Old money doesn't want you to win, says Sami Parmar. Absolutely, without question. Brian Benton says, hit 1,000. I have a channel talking XRP with a fly rod in my hand. I hear you, brother. R stars 777 only 1.4 million XRP wallets equals 0.0014% society. Think about that, guys. We're almost there. 94 people in the stream, 77 likes. If you haven't had a chance to collapse that chat, hit the like button to come back in. I would definitely appreciate that. Going to set that record again. We can continue that streak without question, but that is the deal. Let me share some stuff that I found on Twitter. See if you guys found it as interesting as I did. Do not sleep on the Nasdaq XRPL, the Nasdaq XRP liquidity index. Don't sleep on it. It's important. It's going to be significant moving forward. Spot price is going to be important to pay attention to. And if my dude Robert is right, we're going to wake up one morning and there it is. All right, let me see what I got. Oh, let's see what we got going on here. XRP prices on the value. I think this was Susan Athey, right, with her evaluation of XRP. I believe that's what. So here's the thing, right? So this guy's called the Joker. He's at Keo Crypto. And he has been a guy, according to DAI, he doesn't come on a lot. It's very infrequent that he comes on the Twitter. But when he does come on with the price for Bitcoin or XRP, he's been spot on every single time. And this is what he says. XRP trend line stays down. RSI is getting oversold. And XRP lost its important support level at 25 cents. It seems bulls are waiting for 12 to 17 cent levels. Given the bearish sentiment for Bitcoin, the estimated support for XRP is not far-fetched. So there it is, guys. There it is. And all I can tell you is I'm looking forward and I'm excited about being able to snatch it up when it does hit that, because that will be the bottom before it does its thing. And we will enter a year of a bull market. I'm certain of that. This is kind of talking about the adoption or the evolution of technology adoption and uses. And I like this chart, right? Because it's talking about the internet. It's talking about broadband at home, the use of social media, and how it's all up and to the right. 2010, own a tablet, all up and to the right. And there's this new technology in town, guys, and it's called distributed ledger technology. And Ripple, the company, owns the best form in terms of payment. And that is the XRPL. Crypto central bank payment news. What is the path forward towards harmonized regulatory governance in the constantly evolving ecosystem? This is from Forbes. That was an interesting, it was an okay article. The reason trading this new asset class provides lucrative opportunities for both institutional and retail investors. And that's just a fact. Because it provides lucrative opportunities. We're talking 1,000%. We're talking XRP 30-something, 1,000, Ethereum thousands of percent increase. And institutional, traditional places like Fidelity and TD Ameritrade are understanding that, and they're seeing it, and they will be suggesting to their clients, this is the space that you need to move in, and you wanted to keep 2, 4, 5% of your portfolio in that space, but it's going to be the digital assets with real use case. What does it say here? Okay, Crypto Crusader XRP at Crypto Crusader said, we can observe that today the amount of XRP and the average ODL transactions is far superior than past weeks. We also saw a transaction of over 4,000 XRP this morning, 400,000 XRP this morning. No week is the same on ODL, a constant and safe increase. Like that. Yeah, like that. That's nice. Crypto Crusader XRP. Very, very nice. Let me see if I'm following that dude. I am not. I am now. And these liquidity, the fact that they have a liquidity in boxes the way they do for the Philippines and for Mexico is important as well, because again, it's showing liquidity. It's showing it going up. Mexico, the last 6 days or 6 days in a row, consecutive increases. The Filipino corridor and this index, liquidity index, last 8 days in a row, increases consecutive. I didn't read over this, but this is interesting. Chris Larson tweeted out, well, why am I not following? Proud to be working with Katao-san of SBI, a true innovator and leader driving the future of finance. Japan's regional banks get a fresh look from big investor. Longtime financier Yoshitaka Katao is generating buzz with plans to unite regional banks into a loose confederation under the banner of his. That's Wall Street Journal, isn't it? It is the Wall Street Journal. Isn't that interesting? Talking about Mr. Katao, who is the one, right? There isn't a bigger fan of XRP than this guy, right? Yoshitaka Katao, former number 2 at SoftBank, says more than 10 regional financial institutions have asked him to invest. Yeah, I'm sure they did. That dude is the real deal. Yeah, I'm not part of that. But so anyway, I'm not signed up for that. I haven't subscribed to that. Japan's regional banks, which together have nearly $4 trillion in assets, have been on a share price roll since August, gaining more than 20% in many instances. And longtime financier Yoshitaka Katao is generating buzz with plans to unite regional banks into a loose confederation under the banner of his company, SBI Holdings. And who is the biggest fan of XRP? This dude has our back, as I like to say. I believe in my heart of hearts, he was the one who made that MoneyGram thing happen. He was the one who thought of it, came up with it, and made sure that Brad Garlinghouse, put that in play. I'm convinced of that. 1,000%. 1,000%. This is an interesting thing from Fame XRP. Something to kind of look at and, think about. When digital assets take off, don't blow your money on cars and items that lose value. My goal is to become an accredited investor. The advantage of becoming one is that you have the opportunity to hear more about deals, get access to them, and ultimately invest in those deals. Yep. People will be coming out trying to get your money then, so you have to be real, real careful. Yep. Daily one corridor. XR, this is the awesome, the one and only Crypto Eddie. XRP ODL hit milestone in daily all-time high volume, and XRP is one of the top 4 picks for 2020. I watched that video. That was from Alessio Rastani. He picked XRP, Neo, Chainlink, and I don't remember the other one. New York City has an XRP meetup. Yep, she covered that as well. Go check out this video. Go check out Crypto Ed if you haven't already. Certainly you want to. Am I following her on Twitter? Yep. You want to go check out her channel. Amazing stuff. Alessio Rastani is he's a really good TA guy as well. Older guy, he's been doing it for a while, but he had his top 4 picks for 2020. Let me put his name in the chat. His top 4 picks for 2020. If I don't spell that name right, forgive me. I think I did. I know Alessio is spelled right. Top through. Top 4 picks for 2020. There it is. Brian didn't watch it. It was EOS. Man, Brian, you were on it, brother. It was EOS. Yes. That's interesting, too. Now, you know, that's interesting, too, right? So, but it was XRP, Chainlink, Neo, and EOS. It were his 4 top for 2020. And Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, did he not say that XRP was going to be the biggest gainer? Did he not say XRP was going to be the biggest gainer as well? Cryptic Life. Cryptic Life, what's going on, my friend? Glad to see you in the stream, man. Danny Kephart, how you doing, my friend? You guys are killing it. 86 people on the stream and 88 likes. We did it again. We did it again, guys. Appreciate that. Pretty sure, yes. Yeah, I thought he did as well. I'm going to watch it. I didn't watch it. I just listened to Crypto Eddie. I'm going to, and I watch Alessio a lot when he does digital asset TA. Morris Prince C7, Alessio is good. No BS TA guy. Absolutely. Staff Sergeant of Marines, whenever I feel I need to pick me up, I watch 10,000 Ripple XRP Endgame on YouTube. Who did that video? I know I did a 10,000 video and I referenced Mark Phillips. Mark Phillips actually responded in that video. Jackie33, hey miss, how are you? Who did that video? Staff Sergeant of Marines. Super Hey DeVries, Love for Crypto. Oh, that's right. Love for Crypto did that video. Right. Ralph Raymond, you're right. And I love him too, man, because he tells it how it is. Michael Arrington, right? No BS kind of guy. You got it like that. Now, it wasn't Jingle. I believe it was Jungle, Mark Wilgus. I believe it was Love for Crypto. That's like almost like he called it like a documentary type deal. But boy, did he lay everything out. Mineable. Okay, so Mineable on YouTube? Okay, Mineable did it. Okay, so that's a shorter one. I remember when I used to watch Mineable's videos. I haven't watched them in a while, though. Cryptic Life says Mineable did that video. I always have first timers. Go watch it. Watch that, LOL. Yeah, he does more Bitcoin. You're absolutely right. But I love it when he does mention XRP. And if he did a chart for XRP, I definitely want to see that. Absolutely. Brian Benton says, yes, CJ, I stopped working on Cummins Motor to watch Crypto Eddie today. Yep. I think I watched her on the way to the dentist. Yeah, and it might not come, right? Deep Mind Lab Vision. It's funny how we haven't thought of the idea that some other obscure coin could jumpstart the next bull run. It may not come from Bitcoin. I'm really interested to see, and he really does it. He does his stuff from the charts. So I think it's interesting that he picked EOS. I think that's interesting. That's right. That's right. I remember when he was doing. That's right. That's right. I remember when he was doing the VeChain because he thought VeChain was going to be hooked up somehow with Singapore and some other thing as well. That's right. Mineable. That's right. Yeah, Mineable was the one. So let's see. There was something else on Twitter that I wanted to share with you guys. What was it? Let's see. Okay, so digital assets daily. As investors, it's easy to lose focus on the big picture. Remember, most investments take 20 years to retire, so 4 to 8 is very minimal. The best way to remain focused and steady is remembering the peaks are on 4-year cycles since day one. The next peak is 2021. I thought I had something else here. So don't forget about Ripple saying that they're working with the Fed's faster payment system. I think that is huge in a lot of ways that was brought up. Cannot forget that. Okay, it's Ripple.com. A common set of standards and protocol is critical for the integrity of any platform that transfers money across borders. The Medium articles I wanted to cover with y'all. This is an important milestone for banks to embrace. Distributed ledgers in the move from proof of concept to commercial-ready solutions. Get rid of the concepts, get into the action. CNBC.com, Garlinghouse was being interviewed there, and I just love this statement. Because we have engaged with banks, governments, and regulators and educated them on how digital assets can benefit them, we found a receptive audience. We've signed up 90 banks, now including the Bank of England, the Fed's faster payment system, and many others. Like, there it is. It's undeniable. It's there. Guys, thank you so much for smashing the like button. I definitely appreciate it. We did it again. Guys, another stream with just as many likes as we have people attending the stream. I love that. Brian Benton, of course. I tell people about crypto, they say, let me know when you win your game. Exactly. And that's my whole point of the reason why it's a good chance about that overnight thing. You're waking up one night and XRP is at a certain spot. Because it will not allow for people like your friends to take advantage of XRP, because it could, if you wake up overnight and it's $500 plus or $1,000, they're not getting in. They are not getting in. And remember, we're what 0.000014, something like that. There's a crazy amount of XRP wallets, right? I mean, it's nothing. So if it gets 500 overnight or something like that, they would have been A out, right? They were going to miss out. Yeah. Crypto is going to adopt much faster than traditional stocks. Everything in crypto space moves. It just moves much faster. TJ Jackson is in the building. What's going on, bro? We did it again, man. Another stream with just as many or more likes as the people in the stream, brother. We did it again. Exactly. $100 XRP is extremely undervalued for what Ripple stands to accomplish. Let me go over this real quick. From our guy, Mark Phillips. You guys remember Mark Phillips? Mark Phillips was the guy who did that. Now, I'm not going to go over all of it, but remember when he came out and did the XRP was designed to be a 10,000 XRP? Remember when he did that? Now he's saying out XRP will be a world reserve currency. That's pretty heavy. Isn't that pretty heavy? Bookmark the story. That's really heavy right there. And I saw Times did a video on that subject. I don't know if he covered. Obviously, he must have got it from here. The U.S. debt is growing rapidly. The amount of public debt owed by the governments is now more than $22 trillion. These are just the facts. Remember what I always say on my stream, guys. The global economic crisis has zero patience and waits on no one. That is the real deal. That's the ace in the hole. That is our ace in the hole. And the fact that we hold XRP is the game changer. Absolute game changer. He's showing some of the numbers. Debt held by the public, actual and then projected. By 2029, debt is estimated to reach $28.7 trillion, said the CBO report. This is in addition to the current $5.5 trillion that the government owes to itself via intragovernmental holdings. Risk debt is also a global rising debt. It's also a global problem. There you go. I just said that. According to U.S. debt.org, Japan's public debt is nearly $12 trillion. China's is over 9. The UK's is 3.5, and so forth. The bottom line is that this level of debt is growing worldwide, and it is not sustainable. In February, Federal Reserve Board Chairman Jerome Powell told Congress that the federal government debt is on an unsustainable path. He also noted the idea that deficits don't matter for countries that can borrow in their own currency, I think is just wrong. Although the Fed chair has publicly testified, let me read that again. He also stated the idea that deficits don't matter for countries that can borrow in their own currency, I think is just wrong. Although the Fed chairman has publicly testified to the unsustainable nature of this massive public debt, there doesn't seem to be any movement to solving the problem. Instead, politicians from both parties seem to be moving in the opposite direction. Republicans in Congress and the White House have passed massive tax cuts and increases to defense spending. Democrats, okay, so we all know that, and introducing a new world currency, a new world reserve currency. Wikipedia describes a reserve currency as currency that is held in significant quantities by governments and institutions as part of their foreign exchange reserves. The reserve currency is commonly used in international transactions, international investment, and all aspects of the global economy. It is often considered a hard currency or safe haven currency. Okay. XRP is perfectly positioned to serve as a world reserve currency. It can be held in significant quantities to provide liquidity for foreign exchange reserves, international transactions and investments, and all other uses throughout a global economy. In an earlier article, XRP was designed for 10,000. I quoted Ripple Labs co-founder Arthur Brittle, who wrote, XRP must be scalable to accommodate 7.5 billion people. Does this mean that it was designed to be used by every human on the planet and to serve as a world reserve currency? He says, Mark Phillips says, yes and yes. The world economy, the GDP by country 2017, there's the numbers, 19.39 trillion, 24%. Let's look at XRP's ability to scale. At its creation, a total of 100 billion XRP were created. No more can ever be created. So it is deflationary in nature. Setting aside the fact that some of these XRP have been burned or lost, 100 billion XRP at 10,000 value per XRP would provide 1 quadrillion in total value. This is enough to easily account for the 244 trillion global debt, as well as the 88 trillion GDP. By its very nature, XRP is highly liquid, with fast transactions and settlement times. It is also inexpensive to use. If it is used as a de facto reserve currency, there is no need to exchange it for fiat currency. Though this is also easy to do across multiple currencies and payment networks via the ILP. So, what is the secret that the politicians, non-governmental organizations, and major financial institutions might have been hiding from us? XRP will be a world reserve currency, and it will be used to pay off debt. It will solve the debt crisis without devaluating fiat currencies. And I think there isn't a more profound, a more significant, a more important statement in this whole article, and it's very, very good article. That's the key. The key to it all is this. It will solve the debt crisis without devaluing fiat currencies. That is the key. Because remember this article, and I want you guys to really, really, not the article, but the thing what is this diagram? Where is my freaking diagram? I hate when my diagram is not here. Let's see if I can find it. What do I want to put in here? Downloads. Is it this one? Never ever forget this chart, guys. So important to understand. So important to understand. And I'm just going to read this part of it. I'm going to bottom left. The bottom left, and this is so important. Dollar system is now gone. However, fiat is here to stay. So what is that new system that's going to replace the dollar system? You see what I'm saying? That is really the key. It will solve the debt crisis without devaluating fiat currencies. For example, the United States government could buy XRP at a very low over-the-counter rate, which wouldn't drive up prices up on all the retail exchanges. Likewise, major financial institutions could also stock up on XRP at extremely attractive prices, when all systems, policies, and agreements are in place. Yep. They simply announce that XRP will serve as a reserve currency. They just simply announce it. This is what we're doing. I told you I was going to get rid of this debt. And this is how I'm going to do it. This is the Donald speaking. When all systems, policies, and agreements are in place, they simply announce that XRP will serve as a reserve currency. This drives utility and demand, which rapidly increases the price of XRP. The governments could then settle their debts using XRP, which would not devalue their fiat, because they would not be printing any additional dollars or other fiat currencies. Holy moly. Think about that, guys. Think about that. This would explain why the United States administration, the IMF, and the World Bank have been so positive about Ripple Labs, XRapid, and XRP. It would also explain why the SEC and other federal agencies have not weighed in on XRP's status as a security or other type of asset. That's exactly why. That's exactly why they are not saying, but they are becoming more and more familiar with it. I wouldn't say they're intimately familiar, but they're becoming more and more familiar with it. That's why Congressman Hill was able to boldly say that there is a token. The rails are being laid for this system, and there is a token that can settle. That's what he said. He's becoming more and more familiar with it. It would also explain why the price of XRP has been very steady at a low price for more than 15 months. They say exactly right. Despite a constant stream of positive news about partnerships, production deals, and so forth. Now, these are his words and his opinions, but they make sense to me. My prediction is that we will see such an announcement within the next 24 months, followed by significant sustained price growth for XRP over the course of a decade or more. I hope you're right, Mark Phillips. I should comment on here. Where do I comment? I hope you're right. Following. If I can only spell. All right, that's interesting. Right, so there it is, guys. Our old guy, Mark Phillips. How many of you guys remember when Mark Phillips? Guys, you guys are just, you guys are making this thing happen. 104 likes, 92 people in the stream. You guys are making it happen. I appreciate that. I remember when old Mark Phillips came around and did that article about how XRP was designed to be an XRP. Doesn't he, what he's saying makes sense to a lot of us? Robert George is in the building. How are you, my friend? XRP Cali unit is in the building. Dream big. Exactly right. Dream big. INT ICE 10 something. The 10,000 XRP in 2030. Right? So that overnight thing. I bought Charlie's Bass, Crypto Siege to profit. I bought, so here's the thing. That overnight thing can be a real reality in a lot of ways. It's just overnight. Again, they're going to have the Nasdaq backing it up, right? And again, who's going to argue? Wall Street looks to the Nasdaq for spot pricing. They're familiar with. They're used to doing that. Who's going to argue with Nasdaq when they come up with that spot price for XRP? Are they going to base it on some corridors being open? Absolutely. Are they going to base it on some the volume in the different exchanges and liquidity providers like Bitstamp, Kraken, and Bitfinex? Absolutely. 100%. 100%. But it's just a matter of them flipping the switch. And when everything is in place, you're going to have the NASDAQ to help us in determining that. And again, who's going to argue? with the Nasdaq. Who's going to argue? They're not going to do it based from CMC. That's not how it's going to happen. It's not going to happen. As much as I love live coin watch, it's not going to happen from there. Even CMC is changing their metrics, and they're coming up with a liquidity metrics in terms of determining the value of XRP, the value of all the digital assets. Even they are doing it. So you notice everything is going to be based upon liquidity. And it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of getting things in place. And let's not forget, and then that CNBC.com, Brad Garlinghouse says, we're working with the Fed's faster payment system. Whatever that looks like. I don't know what it's going to look like. But whatever it is, he stated that they're working with it. Robert George says, you don't even need that article, my dude. The writing is all over the wall, even without this article. Without question, bro. Without question, it is there. And I'm telling you, MoneyGram was the thing. MoneyGram was the crossing the chasm moment for Ripple, the company. And I'm telling you, as though I was a fly on the wall, Mr. Cattell was in a meeting with Brad Garlinghouse and all the people at Ripple, and someone leaned over to Brad Garlinghouse and said, shh, Mr. Cattell has something to say. Shh, Mr. Cattell is talking. And he laid this plan out. He laid this plan out with a translator. He laid this plan out. He said, all right, Western Union's not going to play ball. Who's number two? This is what we can do. So isn't that freaking MoneyGram? Yeah, it is MoneyGram. Yeah, this is what we can do. I've looked at their numbers. I looked at their books. They're hurting, but they still have a viable business. They've hurting a bit. Maybe some things have been managed incorrectly. We have a way. We can give them some cash. And aren't they in this regulatory compliant nature already as a money transmitter? Yeah, they are. Okay, cool. Well, why don't you hook up with them, provide them with the ODL so that they can use it, put some cash into it, get a certain amount of stock in that thing, and now be a partner and be a strategic, have them as a strategic partner, and let's ramp up these corridors. I'm convinced, nobody can convince me otherwise, that it was the man himself, Mr. Cattell, Mr. Yoshitaka Cattell, who made that move, who suggested that they make that move. Can't convince me otherwise. And because of that, MoneyGram's now use of ODL and XRP, their use of the ODL and XRP instantly became Wall Street's, I always like to say it instantly became old monies, right? The Rothschilds of the world, real money, and institutional money's proof of concept. It became their proof of concept. Why? Because they understand that business model that is MoneyGram. They understand the MoneyGram business model. They know what they're in business for. Now they're listening and say, wait a minute, you're using this digital asset and you're using it in your business model, and you're also saying that you've come up and discovered new revenue streams. All right, let's check this out. When is your quarter 2 report come out? Okay, cool. And when is your quarter 3 report going to come out? Okay, cool. And they completely understand that. And once they got that business model, okay, so this digital asset, this cryptocurrency, virtual currency thing can be used in the real world in a business model that we understand. Okay, cool. And then all of a sudden, Grayscale's coming out, and they decided that they come up with some new product that has XRP in their basket of products now, not just Bitcoin and Ethereum, because they get that business model. I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you. Tyron Bell is in the building. What's going on, dude? Bro, who wrote this article and where can we find it? 416 Crypto put it in there, yes? It's 416 Crypto. Glad to see you in the stream, my brother. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, Mark Phillips, he's another guy he's the guy who did that 10,000 per XRP. But so that's massive, guys. I'm convinced of that. I know I get to talking about Mr. Cattell. I love that dude. That dude has got our back 1,000%. So that's the deal, guys. And I'm telling you what, I'm absolutely excited about it. So that's the thing. That was the crossing the chasm moment for us. And now it's just all full steam ahead, because now Ripple knows that they can navigate. Because remember, people on that Ripple neck, and they can go through. They don't have to be holding this digital asset. They can go through MoneyGram. They can go through MoneyGram. And now the feds and Congress and everybody like, whoa, wait a minute. They can move on this thing. They don't have to wait for us. They don't have to wait for us. MoneyGram is a legal, compliant, doing their thing. The banks can use that now and not have to hold it. They don't have to be in regulatory compliant. They're working through and around and with MoneyGram. Cryptocation, what's going on, my friend? Good to see you in the stream, my friend. You know what I mean? And you may be right about that, Danny Kephart. Danny Kephart says, I believe that the powers that be may use some XRP as a reserve, but it'll be a variety of digital assets instead of just XRP. It won't be just one digital asset, is what he's saying. And you're absolutely right. It could very well be. It could very well be, brother. Huh. Danny Phoenix says Western Union is probably already on XRP, just denying it to the public to prevent the inevitable. Could absolutely be the case. Who said something about Mr. Cattell? Morris Prince C7 Cattell is a mother. He boss, period. Without question, I'm telling you, that dude is the one. Mr. Cattell is the one, guys. $20 easy by Q4 of 2020. Yep. Robert George, $20 easy by Q4 2020. You're right. All right, guys, listen, I'm going to wrap up the stream like I always do. Let me change this view to do that. All right, guys. So listen, please, guys, never, ever forget this. Never, ever forget this, guys. Old money doesn't want you to win. They don't want us to win. They would rather us remain a cog in their perpetual wheel of trading our time for dollars. They don't want us to play in the same playground that they play in. Where we allow our money to work for us. This is our chance to win, guys. The digital asset space is our chance to win. We are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. Are you participating? Or are you standing on the sidelines? Here's what I do know. That the battle for you has already been fought. And the victory is yours. Go get it. I'll talk to you soon, guys. See ya. Bye.